Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Why do you think there is this general perception about the Mongols that, hey, I mean, they are brute killers who just go there conquering civilizations and cities and murdering people, and there is nothing else about them?
Well, yeah, this comes from the fact that actually the Mongol covered many nations. If we think about the modern world, most of the states today in Central Eurasia were part of the Mongol Empire. But after the 18th century, they developed their own, nations. So you would say that in that sense, the Russians or the Iranians or the Chinese, they wanted to have their own national history. And the Mongol Empire period was a problem because it didn't fit with their own narrative. And so they were interested. They were great historians and archaeologists in all these countries. But they were blocked by the fact that, what about the Mongol period? So that's one thing. The other thing is there were many sources produced during the time of the invasion that were that described very lively the violent moment of the conquest. And there were certainly a lot of very violent moments. But here we need to consider the whole period of the Mongol Empire, not just only the years of the conquest. That's one aspect. The conquest period was not only about destroying other worlds, other civilizations. Even during the time of Chinggis Khan, we know that the Mongol wanted to, to colonize the world. They wanted to get all these people into their own empire. They did not want to destroy and kill people. They wanted to get them in. So that's something we really have to understand. Otherwise, it makes no sense. So they wanted them in, and then as soon as it was possible, they tried to sort of reconstruct cities or to develop economics, because for them it was their own interest. So, for instance, in my book, I really work on the relationship with the Russian, of course, or the Rus principalities, where after the conquest, for the Mongols, the Russians were their subjects. They were part of the big Mongol state. So they had to have a special statute. They had to be protected because they were subject. That's really the, imperial way. So we need to consider the sources for the second half of the 13th century, 14th century, where you see something completely different on the ground. It's not only about violence and fight. It's very much about trying to live together, trying to build together. So that's another aspect here. Also, of course, we shouldn't rely only on the written sources for the time of the invasion. We have to rely on archaeology. And archaeology say that actually, when we saw before that some cities were entirely destroyed by the Mongol, like Baghdad, we heard that a lot because of certain sources. With archaeology and more work, now we know that it was not totally destroyed, that it was of course taken, conquered, the caliph was executed, but the city itself remained strong and important cities in the Mongol Empire. So the perspective now becomes really different thanks to all this research everywhere.
Hopefully you liked this episode. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.